All right, welcome to week 86. I'm sorry, 3. This is this week's Common Lit. I'm going to read it to you and then you'll go through and answer the questions. Why it matters that teens are reading less. All right. Most of us spend much more time with digital media than we did a decade ago, but today's teens have come of age with smartphones in their pockets. Compared to teens a couple of decades ago, the way they interact with traditional media like books and movies is fundamentally different. My co-authors and I analyzed nationally representative surveys of over 1 million US teens collected since 1976 and discovered an almost seismic shift in how teens are spending their free time. Now let's look up the word seismic. It means of enormous proportion or effect. All right, back to this. Increasingly, books seem to be gathering dust. It's all about the screens. By 2016, the average 12th grader said they spent a staggering 6 hours a day texting on social media and online during their free time. And that's just 3 activities. If other digital media activities were included, that estimate would surely rise. Teens didn't always spend that much time with digital media. Online time has doubled since 2006, and social media use moved from a periodic activity to a daily one. By 2016, nearly 9 out of 10 12th grade girls said they visited social media sites every day. Meanwhile, time spent playing video games rose from under an hour a day to an hour and a half on an average. 1 out of 10 eighth graders in 2016 spent 40 hours a week or more gaming, the time commitment of a full-time job. With only so much time in the day, doesn't something have to give? Maybe not. Many scholars have insisted that time online does not displace time spent engaging with traditional media. Some people are just more interested in media and entertainment, they point out, so more of one type of media does not necessarily mean less of another. Page 2. However, that doesn't tell us about what happens across a whole cohort of people when time spent on digital media grows and grows. This is what large surveys conducted over the course of many years can tell us. Now we want to go down and see what cohort is. See the superscript. You go down to group of people. Movies and books go by the wayside. While 70% of 8th and 10th graders once went to the movies once a month or more, now only about half do. Going to the movies was equally popular from the late 70s to the mid 2000s, suggesting that Blockbuster Video and VCRs didn't kill going to the movies. But after 2007, when Netflix introduced its video streaming service, moviegoing began to lose its appeal. More and more, watching a movie became a solitary experience. This fits a larger pattern. In another analysis, we found that today's teens go out with their friends considerably less than previous generations did. Now we want to look up solitary. It's an adjective meaning done or existing alone. But the trends in movie-going pale in comparison to the largest change we found, an enormous decline in reading. In 1980, 60% of 12th graders said they read a book, newspaper, or magazine every day that wasn't assigned for school. By 2016, only 16% did, a huge drop. Even though the book, newspaper, or magazine could be read on a digital device, the survey question doesn't specify format. The number of 12th graders who said they had not read any books for pleasure in the last year nearly tripled, landing at 1 out of 3 by 2016. For iGen, the generation born since 1995, who has spent their entire adolescence with smartphones, books, newspapers, and magazines, have less and less of a presence in their daily lives. Of course, teens are still reading, but they're reading short texts and Instagram captions, not long-form articles that explore deep themes and require critical thinking and reflection. Perhaps as a result, SAT reading scores in 2016 were the lowest they have ever been since record-keeping began in 1972. It doesn't bode well for their transition to college either. Imagine going from reading 2-sentence captions to trying to read even 5 pages of an 800-page college textbook at one sitting. Reading and comprehending longer books and chapters takes practice, and teens aren't getting that practice. We want to see what bode means. It means to indicate a certain outcome. There was a study from the Pew Research Center a few years ago finding that young people actually read more books than older people, but that included books for school and didn't control for age. When we look at pleasure reading across time, iGen is reading markedly less than previous generations. The way forward. So we should rest, to forcibly pull from someone's grasp. So we should wrest smartphones from iGen's hands and replace them with paper books? Probably not. Smartphones are teens' main form of social communication. However, that doesn't mean that they need to be on them constantly. Data connecting excessive digital media time to mental health issues suggest a limit of 2 hours a day of free time spent with screens, a restriction that will also allow time for other activities, like going to the movies with friends or reading. Of the trends we found, the pronounced decline in reading is likely to have the biggest negative impact. Reading books and longer articles is one of the best ways to learn how to think critically, understand complex issues, and separate fact from fiction. It's crucial for being an informed voter, an involved citizen, a successful college student, and a productive employee. If print starts to die, a lot will go with it. Okay, so that's with the article. And then you're going to answer these text-dependent questions. Question 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You don't have to do the discussion questions. And that is it. You will either post your answers to Remind, or you can send them to the email that I accept, and that is and there you go. Good luck, and I'm sure we'll talk during the week.